Well, hello everyone. I hope everyone is having an amazing Wednesday so far. I apologize. Wow. I apologize for the nasaliness in my voice. I am slightly sick. I think it's a variation of the flu, so I've been feeling pretty run down all this week. Been taking medicine to try to feel a bit better. So I'm feeling a lot better than when I did on Monday. Monday was probably the pinnacle of terrible flu sickness. Just my whole body's aching, sore, everything like that, but I'm feeling a lot better, just kind of coughing up a little bit. Hello, Richard. How is it going? Rita, how are you doing today? Charisse, I have pronounced your name correctly, right? Charisse Colley. Pretty sure I've been practicing, Charisse, I promise you. So, also, guys, anyone's name who I do butcher, let me know the phonetic spelling of it because I am horribly atrocious at pronouncing names. If you guys see any of our shows at cruising.tv or on our YouTube channel or Facebook page, you should know that by now. Oh, that looks like I got Charisse's name correct. Thank you, Richard. So I have been away from cruising for just a little bit this past weekend. Joe took my spot, and he is going to be the next one, so it's Joe. However, the following week, it's going to be back to me with Carnival. Like I said, this past Saturday, I had a work event in Tampa. It was Gasparilla, so it was like a big pirate festival and everything else. So it's just been very, very hectic for me. But I had a good time. Joe did pretty well with the show, so I'm always glad to see that. And it's always neat seeing Shally interact with Joe just because they don't really have that conversation really. Well, they don't really talk to each other a lot because she's not his host. And yeah. Anyway, let me say hi to new people coming in. Hey, Ken Jordan, how is it going? Ken, I hope I feel better soon too. It's been rough these past couple days. Yeah, Joe did a great job. You're right, Richard. So let's talk about a couple things coming up on the show. So Bird and I are thinking about doing some slight reformatting for the show and the layout. With your guys' honest opinions, what segments of the show do you guys really like a lot, and what segments of the show are you not as interested in? We want to produce a show that is for you guys. We want to have enough interaction with you guys and something that's very interesting to a lot of our viewers. I know we can't make everyone happy, but we do take in a lot of your insights and opinions and comments. And we've actually been playing around with some new features, as you can see over here. I'm never going to get the pointing thing right with my hands. Anyway, Bird has been playing around with this new stuff. So we have this new technology over here where we're able to display comments, their picture, and it's a lot nicer and a bit smoother too to relay some comments here.
Hey guys.
Hey Bird, how's it going?
It's going great. How's everybody doing this middle of the week and Valentine's Day? So
it is Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I hope you remembered.
Oh, I did. I woke up, but
well, you're still breathing, so of course you remembered.
Like mouth breathing though, Bird, it's not really breathing per se. I'm just like my whole nose is clogged, so it's not so fantastic.
Hey,
but I got Valentine's Day dinner in the oven ready to go. I thought it was going to be ready before the midweek show, but the center of my pork butt roast is still raw, so I was munching on some pancakes beforehand.
Wait, hold that up again. Please tell me, like, that's not just a burnt mess on top of it.
No, it's chocolate chip.
Oh, okay.
So it's like melted chocolate.
Oh, okay.
Think I'm going to burn pancakes, Bird? No, please.
Raymond, oh my God. Raymond says, tweet, Bird. Thank you. Very nice of you.
So as you can see, we've been playing around with a couple new features, but we want to get some of your insight and feedback too about resegmenting some of the parts of the show. Of course, we're always going to keep the interviews. The interview is one of the most interesting pieces of our show, and that's where we get the most live viewers. We were discussing adding different segments, and we were wondering which ones to replace. We're definitely keeping the photo of the week. The photo of the week is really great because we get to see you guys a lot more, and it just provides a lot of people the option to send in a photo and be hosted on the show. And it's kind of a nice feeling to kind of just be picked for something as well. So besides the photo of the week and the interview, we have a couple other different segments. We're talking about doing something a bit different with the cruise news. So with cruise news, it's good and bad. So it's good because we get to relay a lot of the new cruise information where I think a lot of people wouldn't really go out and find on their own, that sometimes it could be interesting. However, one of the downside is we can't really interact with you guys and get your feedback on it. It's very regurgitating a lot of the words from it, and we don't want to become a news station. We want to be a very interactive type of channel. So if you guys could think of any way where we could be a bit more interactive with cruise news.
Well, actually, you
or
know
if
what
you
I'll
think
do, Matt?
Okay.
Let me put a poll up on our Facebook page, our common one. So if anyone doesn't know where that is, that's facebook.com/reality afloat, not the Cruise Week one. If you guys haven't subscribed to either of those, subscribe to them both, because we put a lot of like general chit chat backwards forwards on the Reality Afloat one, and the other one is mostly for posting the shows and stuff like that. So let's put up a poll and see whether people like the cruise news or not. So
Okay.
I'm going to do that right now, so everybody can go vote after the show. No, I think there's a poll button in here. Yes, there is a poll button. Okay, so
one of the other segments too. One of the other segments too are the videos that we get from a lot of the cruise directors, and we really like those a lot. Usually those are really entertaining, and what's great about those is you get to see parts of the ship that most passengers will never really see unless they're dating a crew member, which is kind of difficult to do sometimes. So we really like those a lot, and all the videos we get are absolutely great. If you guys have any ideas on future videos or different segments we can upload that might be similar to that, throw us a line. We love learning and trying to experiment with different sections. We've played around with other segments in the past, some that have stuck, some that have not. Also, tell us what you guys think about the science segment that I do and the history segment that Joe does. Charisse Colley says, what about expanding the show to those that are avid cruisers and their experiences? Thoughts on a ship, particular ports, and cruise lines. Charisse, that's a great idea. We've tried experimenting with something of that before, where we wanted to do a picture of the week and then kind of like a video segment of the week as well from cruisers. However, we didn't get any videos or responses from really anyone. There are thousands of people who are expert cruisers who go on plenty of cruises, but no one really sent us any videos and interacted, really commented on it. So we played around with it before. I don't know if we just didn't have a large following then, but it didn't seem very popular at the time. Bird, you're muted again. Well, Bird gets around to unmuting himself. Still muted. Let's read some more comments.
Okay, I was muted. I turned my mic down while I was doing a poll, and I forgot to send it out. Sorry, guys.
Ken Jordan says, I know it'd be hard to do, but it'd be nice to talk to more first-time cruisers. So again, that kind of plays off of Charisse's one. It would be really great to do that. However, unless we're on the ship itself, it's really difficult to get people to do videos and then send them to us. That's something we would really have to be on the ship to do, because it's right there, right now, with good camera quality and everything else.
Unless we actually had some people remote in, I'd like a remote guest. We have tried several things. We have put posts out asking for various ideas and follow through with stuff. And if we've had it, we've implemented it. If we haven't got really a response or anything, we haven't. So we're always trying to improve it. You know, we want to keep the show about an hour, but we want to like home in on the best parts, the ones that you guys really, really like. You know, the things that just make you love the show and just love the whole difference of it. Because I mean, let's face it, without you guys, we don't have a show, do we?
We're just people talking about ships. Pretty much it.
Exactly. Let's see. Somebody just asked, where is the poll? I will put it up in a moment on an overlay. Give me a second. So
while Bird's tinkering around with that, what are some other ideas that you guys have? I really liked doing a lot of the tour guys, having them on the show. Those are always fantastic. Maybe we could probably play around with getting some video uploads from them. Some of the tour guides, it's very difficult to have on the show due to them being in some remote locations. The Wi-Fi range there is really, really poor. So it's kind of hard to have them on as guests. We've tried several people in the past, and some of the connections, as you might have recalled, are either very iffy or they weren't able to reconnect at all. So that was quite frustrating sometimes, and it really hurts the show a little bit when, that's kind of like the main feature, the meat of the dish, and then it's just not there. So if you guys have some ideas about that, that'd be great. We're also, how would you guys feel about if we did mini segments too that were pre-recorded parts on the show itself? We played around with some of that with our cruise directors and some of the other staff members. They do some pre-recorded stuff. Would you be more interested in seeing any stuff of that nature from us, or perhaps from tour guides or some other features? If so, what would you like to see? Let's see. Mark says, I'm going to Cuba Saturday, and I'm getting a great video sent. Mark, that would be awesome. We have not had any videos sent to us from Cuba yet. That would be fantastic. Cuba is a very big spot for most cruises to want to go to now, just because the embargo act was dropped, so people are able to travel there relatively easily. So that would be fantastic, Mark, if you could send us that.
Oh yeah.
And
any videos we get sent in is great. Any stuff we get sent in is actually great. So actually, why don't we ask you guys, what's your favorite part of the show? What is the best part? And of course, if you say the end, I'm just going to cut the feed right now.
Maybe we should start with us. Bird, what is your favorite part of the show?
I really do like the guests. I really enjoy that part because it's just the interaction with them and finding out about the cruising from that perspective. We've probably had about 60, 65 guests, maybe even more. Sometimes we've had a couple of guests on, and it's just been really great to interact with them. And I've actually made a lot of friends, so I keep in contact with a lot of them. So I have a long list of these people, and I do chat to them on a semi-regular basis. A lot of cruise directors I'll touch base with and say, hey, how are things going, stuff like that. So that's my favorite part of the show, I would say. What about you, Matt?
Okay, so this is a little weird. I really enjoy the pre-show, the 10-minute pre-show, because I get to interact with everyone, and it's very nonchalant. There's no pressure on me. I can kind of goof around a little bit, chit-chat with Shally and our guest, and it's just so natural and very fluid. And I get to really interact with people heavily. And then I also really like talking to Shally because that's very nonchalant as well. I feel like there's not a lot of an agenda based with that, where she has her stuff and I get to kind of chime in when needed, which I think is very nice as well. The guests are always awesome. There's a couple of guests in the past that I would say maybe made it not my favorite part, just because sometimes it's difficult to have interviews with specific people where it was like pulling teeth to try to get a bit more of an exclamation out of them or a bit more dialogue.
Yeah.
And it's a bit nervous too for me because I'm trying to listen to the guest. I'm trying to listen to Bird. I'm trying to read the comments, and I got so much stuff going on. The pre-show I like the best, I would have to say, just because it's so nonchalant and very relaxing.
Yeah. I love what Richard says over here. He says, he likes your drinking.
I like your drinking. I mean, Richard, a drink before the show is great for calming nerves, and a couple drinks later, and someone else drives me home. It's great.
Oh, I remember the very first show with Shally, and I mean, she must have had 6 bottles of wine during the pre-show just to calm her nerves.
It helped.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, just talking about that, Matt, how has it got easier now being able to, because again, you're understanding what a newscaster has, where you've got a voice in your ear and you're talking at the same time, but also listening, which is a very hard trick to do.
I would say it's a lot easier for me. Before, I would look through my notes. We do use a teleprompter because it's just a lot easier and a lot more fluid to have a discussion, and it's a lot more agenda-based versus trying to come up with stuff right on the spot or just having bullet points. That's a bit intense to do that. So with using the projector or the teleprompter, at first it was really difficult to try to read it. I would have to memorize the lines, and it would take me several hours to do that. Ward says cruise news is his favorite part. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, Yeah, I would say it definitely got easier over time. Now I maybe read it over once and I kind of got it down. Even without reading it, if I was just to go and look at the teleprompter, I could probably nail it first time as long as everything was edited properly. Just because I'm not trying to have a conversation with the teleprompter anymore. I'm just reading what's exactly there. Because sometimes I would try to read ahead and try to plan out everything in my head and remember different spots. Now it's a lot more fluid and just easier to do. And with the guest and reading and listening to Bird, I've kind of developed like several different ears, one for this part, one for this part, so I could hear multiple things at a time. It's a bit frustrating, but I feel like parents of multiple children will probably understand that. Shuri says, I like the guests you have on. Sometimes it's tough to get all the questions, though. Learning about amazing ports of call is my second. Yeah, so with the questions, that's really difficult to do because there are so many questions that get asked. And sometimes I'll have pages of questions where I have to have maybe a 30-minute average conversation with the guest. And about 15 to 20 minutes is your guys' question, with the other part being kind of filler or building up to the questions or kind of just general discussion. So with that, I have to organize all the questions that you guys asked from a successful conversation. You don't want it to jump around a bit. The other thing that's difficult is sometimes I'll have a bunch of people asking the same question. So I'll ask it once, and then some people will ask very similar question that's slightly different wording, and they feel like their question wasn't answered, but it kind of was, and I don't want to jump all the way back to a different point in the conversation just for one question. Ward says, I like when all those people crash Shelley's set. Oh, God. Richard says, talk about cruise lines a little more, like more information on ships. So with a lot of the ships, it's kind of difficult to do that. So that could be something we could talk about, though, maybe like a featured ship every show where we can highlight some of the main features about it. The issue with that is there's only a handful of ships per one that are actually different. A lot of them are very, very, very similar.
Sister ships, yeah.
I just wouldn't want that to be repetitive. But that could be something we could do in small amounts.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Just to let you guys know and give you an idea of what happens with Matt when he has questions. So while the show's going on and he's got the guest, I'm in the other room and I am looking at a screen similar to this. So these are all your questions that come in, and then if I pick something like this one, I would actually add it to a queue. When I add it to the queue, this is what Matt sees. So Matt sees like a curated list, and then he can actually pull it up like this, and he can actually send it over, and that's how that works.
So we got a lot of stuff to look at. We really do try our best, but it's splitting brain cells with all the different screens in front of us.
It really is. It's a team effort because I sometimes, with help from Eric, are going through all your questions, and all the questions are coming up not only from here but also on YouTube, Periscope. So all that comes into the system, and then I've got to look through and pick the relevant questions versus just statements or comments like, "Hey, I'm going on this cruise." Send them to Matt so he doesn't have to look through. He knows if a question pops up, it's relevant. But that doesn't mean that it's at the right point to ask him the interview. So he's got to keep an eye on all of that and then ask him at the relevant points, and then we put them up on the screen. So just that tiny piece of this whole show is all that. That's just getting your questions on the screen. But that's how we do it. I mean, there's a lot of work goes into this show, isn't there?
Oh, yeah. There's definitely quite a bit of stuff that we do in the background. Or during the show when there's like a slight issue where my audio might not be great or there's some other issue. I hear Bird rushing to the room and you guys can't see it. But he'll be down like over here working on stuff to the side, trying to get everything back up. And I have to try to ignore him as best as possible to kind of have a good show. And there's a lot of interesting behind the scenes type of stuff. It would be interesting to have like a camera from the side view.
Actually, that's one of the things I'm thinking of doing is maybe we do have a sub channel on our YouTube channel called BTS Behind the Scenes. And that's something I was experimenting with, maybe having a camera in a corner, which comes on like 30 minutes before the show, and you can see us getting set up and all that stuff, and hear what you say before the show.
Yeah,
He's
I was
like,
gonna say, I don't
it's not
know.
such a bad
I don't
idea. Yeah.
know.
But sometimes
Just want
people
to
really
tell my
like to
parents about
see
that.
that, they can see all the stuff that you've got and all the stuff that you've got going on. Because I think all in all, we've been very lucky and we've managed to, the little problems we've had, they've just been sorted out on the fly. And we've done a very good
Mm.
show, I think. What do you guys think? Do do you
I
like the
just want to
show?
say I'm very impressed in myself that I have not swore one time on the show in any segment. There is a bunch of times where I wanted to, with just messing up my own lines, and you just want to let a little one out because you're just mad at yourself. Very, very, very frustrating sometimes. Or I'll hit the wrong button and I'll hear a bird like yelling in my ear, "What did you do?" So there's a lot of little times, but I've been trying really, really hard to make this as family friendly as possible. Cherie says this is what happens when you make it to the big time.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's I've been trying good, and then John Heald comes on and then ruins the family show aspects.
That was
Of
fun.
course, of course.
I think our most interesting blooper though that happened live on the show. I don't know who caught it and who didn't, but it was Joe's show, and as you know, this is actually in my apartment. So this is a working studio office for me, and I have a home automation system. Now, usually it's really good. It detects when I leave and turns all the lights off and does stuff like that. Well, we just started the show, just gone to the title sequence when my home automation system suddenly, for some reason, decides nobody's home, shuts all the lights off, comes back from the title automatically into Joe, who's just sitting here in darkness, just lit by the screens for very eerie lighting with his mouth
Nice,
open.
nice. That's good.
And
That's
I'm
good.
like, I realized what happened as soon as because it like does it in stages. So it's like one of those horror movies where you see the darkness coming at you.
Yep,
Boom,
flicker in
boom,
there.
boom. And I'm like, oh no. But it takes me a few seconds to override it. So Joe's sitting in the dark. I forget which show that was, but that was absolutely hilarious.
God, can only imagine that. I have a home automation system too, and I've been really playing around with it quite a bit. My lights randomly come on and off sometimes, and it's very frustrating. I feel like it's kind of more of like a motherly figure in the morning because I'll ask them to turn the lights off because they're automatically come at 9 a.m. to kind of like, hey, wake up. And I'll turn them off, and then like 10 minutes later they just come back on. No program set behind it. They're supposed to come on 30 minutes later, but they come on 10 minutes later, just randomly. They'll go slow to bright, and it's frustrating. Gets me up.
Oh,
Yeah,
Lord. So, yeah, don't forget to go and vote on that poll and let us know what you think. There it is
definitely.
down. Am I pointing in the right direction? Yeah. There we go.
See, it's difficult to do that, right? Everything's all inverse.
It's all backwards, so it's like over here is over there, and yeah, you have to look at like the back. Yeah, remember where the thing is physically in the background? Yeah.
Yep.
By the way, this is actually a real frame. If I do that. Actually, it looks kind of cool, doesn't it?
Yeah, remember people were not really yelling at us, but like, "Oh, you guys can't do that. It doesn't look great." And we're like, "Well, we could probably make it better." And I think it's probably one of the better portions of our show for our studio. I think that's like a highlighting feature for it.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good
that was
idea.
very early on. I mean, when we did that the first time, we used a much different piece of software that didn't green screen it out properly. Now we've got much more professional software. Yeah, we're getting better all the time. We're always trying to upgrade and improve stuff and bring stuff. Talking about that, do we know who our guest for this week is?
I do not.
You don't, huh? Well, let's show you. It's going to be Lee Mason. He is a Carnival Cruise director, but he just spent 6 months in Australia on one of the Carnival ships down there. Originally from England. He's done several cruises in the US, and he's just got back from, like I said, 6 months in Australia. So that is really cool because that means we get to talk to him about the differences between cruising on Australia and the Australian genre of cruising versus the US. So that's
Nice.
good.
That's gonna be really great.
Yeah.
Um,
He's actually
Richard,
skiing right now, and we'll be back Friday. So,
very adventurous. Richard says, "When is your guys' next cruise?" Richard, I never know when my next cruise is. I'm hoping it's sometime before my birthday in July. Even just like a 4-day cruise would be really great, or a 3-day weekend one. That would be pretty awesome. Uh, Kay says, "What ship do you like best?" Kay, that's really difficult to say because I've only been on 2 ships, the Magic and the Triumph, and you can't really compare the two. They're 2 very different classes of ships. The Magic was my first cruising experience, so that's always going to have a special place in my heart. Also, with the Magic, I had a drink card, and we went on a lot more excursions, so it's very difficult to try to do that. The Triumph, I was also really sick, and we did a lot more filming while I was sick, so it was, there's some parts
yeah.
where I'm like, okay.
Now, I've been on quite a few ships. Let's see. I've been on the Sunshine, the Magic, the Triumph, Oasis of the Seas, Majesty of the Seas. I think that's it. So 5 different ships.
Majesty of the Seas quite a few times, though.
Yeah. Layout of the ship is a toss-up. On Royal, definitely Oasis of the Seas. Loved the layout. Loved the fact that there's so much to do on that ship. Carnival, I actually really like the Sunshine. I really liked it. It wasn't too big. It wasn't too small. It was like just right. And I really liked at the back end they had that really big waterfall, and the adult area is really nicely laid out. So I would definitely say, yeah, Sunshine is one of my favorites on Carnival, and Royal, of course, Oasis.
The Magic was really nice too because of the adult only area. That probably would make most ships better for me. It's as long as they have like an adult only area, because Triumph did not, and it was difficult to try to like avoid kids. I feel like when I'm on a ship and there's no area like that, I guess the closest area would be the casino at that point. But I don't like filtering myself or feel like I have to filter myself around different people. So that's why I really like the adult only areas where I can just kind of converse without having to worry about some angry parent overhearing me say a swear or something of that nature, or conversations. Jennifer says, "I will be traveling with my grandparents and 9-year-old daughter to Amber Cove in June on a carnival. Any must-see places or good excursions? It seems like a resort destination." I don't think I've ever been to Amber Cove. Bird, have you?
No, I really haven't, unfortunately. But you know who will have? Shelley.
Shelley. Yep.
So we will ask. And hello, Melissa. She's just came in. She's late. That's okay. We'll forgive you. Take a seat at the back. But yeah, Amber Cove, I'm not sure. I haven't really heard much about it either, so it's difficult to give an opinion. This is when we need like Shelley to pop in, like a pop-up Shelley.
Yep.
Yeah, she'll know.
Marie says, "What gave you the idea to do a show like this? That would be interesting, and how you all came together." We could definitely do that. That might be a good midweek show topic. That might be a bit too much for a regular show, just because, I mean, we could do a pre-recording, which might work. Bert and I would have to talk about that, but it could definitely be easily done for a midweek show. And we have discussed this a couple different times in the past. I don't know exactly who or where it is online, but I know we've talked about this quite a lot. I think it's usually like guests and cruise directors and other people on ships itself versus actually recording it.
Yeah, I think Sharice wants to know like how we all met and how we decided to go on. Because of course, from the moment we went on, we've got all that on the cruiseweek.tv website, so we have that part. But maybe next week we can talk more about it.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
But like I said, I do think it's definitely one for a midweek show. That way we can chat more backwards and forwards with you guys.
Exactly.
But Yeah. Don't worry, Jennifer. I will ask our resident cruise expert, Shelley, that has been on more cruises than there's types of wine in the world, and
Oh,
I'm
yep,
sure she'll be able to tell us all about Amber Cove. So,
definitely.
mm,
Well, guys, it looks like we're running out of time. I have dinner to take out of the oven. It is Valentine's Day, so I got to get everything all prepared for that. So,
mm.
hope everyone has a wonderful night and enjoys the
Don't
rest of the
forget,
week. As always, don't
and
forget
Matt,
this
just
coming
yeah, don't forget
Saturday at
this.
8 p.m.
Yeah.
Eastern Standard Time. We have Lee Mason, cruise director, who is back from Australia. Anything else?
Nope, that is it, guys. Thanks for joining us. Please make sure you do the poll. Let me just throw that up really quick one last time because we do really want to know from you guys if you like the what parts of the show you like, what parts of the show you don't like, so we can make the show better for you.
Exactly.
And don't forget, join us this week at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Melissa, that's Eastern time, not any other time zone. Eastern, and we'll be back, right?
Yep. And as always, we'll see you on
Sorry,
the
I don't
ships.
know that one.